Today's Servo webinar is sponsored by NetExpat. In this webinar, Beyond the Move, Duty of Care for Relocating Families, Mary Weaver, VP, Global Advisory Services, North America at NetExpat, explores why supporting the whole family is critical to relocation success and employer duty of care.
So let's get started with today's webinar, Beyond the Move, Duty of Care for Relocating Families. My name is Mary Weaver. I am VP of Global Advisory Services for North America at NetExpat. I am based in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've spent more than 2 decades in the global mobility industry, and I've had the opportunity to work in roles on both the corporate side as well as serving as a trusted advisor to organizations globally. And throughout my journey, I've seen firsthand the critical role that families play in assignment and relocation success. So today, I'd like to share some practical insights and current trends that demonstrate how supporting the relocating partners not only improves well-being and retention, but also strengthens duty of care and drives better outcomes for both the employee as well as the employer. So first, a little bit about NetExpat. NetExpat is the leading global provider of partner and family support for relocating families. We've been in business for over 25 years, helping improve relocation success through our programs. We offer programs such as partner career coaching, including job search, networking support, career alternatives, and integration support, not only for the relocating spouse, but also for the entire family, and including opportunities to connect to the community as part of those integration programs. We serve the accompanying partners and spouses, as well as the families, looking with special attention on dual career couples. And these programs are available to both employees who are relocating globally as well as domestically. So for the agenda today, we're going to divide our session into 2 parts. First, we'll take a look at the 2026 Relocating Family Support Survey and understand what the latest data tells us about partner resistance to relocate, dual income, well-being, and how to promote employer attractiveness through relocating family support. And then we'll take a dive into some case studies so we can see real client and community stories demonstrating how partner and family support changes those relocation outcomes for the better. So first, a few highlights of the 2026 Relocating Family Support Survey. This is a joint survey conducted by NetExpat and in collaboration with Ernst & Young. And we conduct this survey every 2 years. So today we're looking at data from the 2026 report. This includes the data gathered through late of 2025, along with 7 years of historical trends. And as far as the target audience, we really wanted to reflect the voices of those closest to the relocating experience. So participants include mobility leaders, relocating employees, as well as the accompanying spouses and partners. We have results from the top 1,000 employers included and across 340 different companies, 25 countries, and 7 years of historical trends. Over the course of 7 years, we've had over 4,400 respondents. This helps us offer the most comprehensive view of family support and a truly global perspective. So I have 8 key learnings from the survey that we're going to take a look at today. Starting off with the first one, that partner resistance is the number 1 reason for rejecting a relocation. When we asked for the most common reasons employees decline international assignments, we found that the spouse and partner being unwilling to move is the number one reason. In 2023, it captured 51% of the vote, and it has increased in recent years to 69%. This really corresponds with the rise in importance of dual income and the importance to support the relocating partner in the journey. We also asked relocating partners who are also parents, which areas of support do they wish the employer would support more? And 86% of partners with children would like employers to provide more family-oriented relocation services. These services really help them understand how to navigate the challenges associated with accepting an assignment. This is why NetExpat offers our Partner 360 program, which provides a more holistic, equitable approach to supporting the entire family. And the program is extremely flexible, which can adapt to the family's unique circumstances, including any specific personal and professional needs they might have. The next key learning is that partner unhappiness is the number one reason for a failed relocation. So first we talked about partner resistance being the number one reason an assignment is rejected, but then once it's accepted, the partner unhappiness is also the number one reason for a failed relocation. So congratulations. The implementation of recent partner support programs has paid off, because you can see that we're seeing fewer relocations failing due to partner unhappiness, with more failed assignments shifting to employee performance matters. You see that in the decrease from 71% to 62%. However, it's still the number one reason for failed relocations, even though we are seeing some success from the programs. When an international relocation fails, the financial impact on companies is substantial. Conservative estimates put the average cost of a failed expat assignment between $250,000 to $1 million US when you look at all of the direct and indirect expenses. And partner and family unhappiness, again, it's the number one reason for these failed relocations. So in looking at how to help battle this unhappiness, partners and families are growingly supported by corporations through a range of programs. And this includes career support programs, as well as integration and acclimation support programs. Adding on a program to address pre-decision for the employee and partner can also greatly improve relocation success. Equipping both the employee and the partner with information and providing guidance and resources very early on in the process can help build confidence, improve family readiness, make sure they're making the right decision together, and increase the likelihood of a successful relocation outcome. Increasing the positive relocation outcomes by improving partner and family happiness not only protects the company investment, but provides a very strong ROI, and the data makes that straightforward. The next key learning we look at is that partner and family well-being support programs are on the rise. Corporations are paying more and more attention to partner and family support and well-being. When we asked the audience, do you believe your current employer or your partner's employer is adequately prioritizing partner support, 78% of corporate respondents said yes. And this is up from previous years, as you can see. We also asked, do you believe your current employer or your partner's employer is adequately prioritizing family well-being? And again, we saw that 75% of the respondents said yes, which is a slight increase over previous years. The strong focus on well-being for mobile employees and their families is clear. 95% of corporations provide some form of assistance to spouses, partners, and families during the initial move, with 55% extending that support beyond relocation, including repatriation for those who are on assignments. This stability underscores that well-being programs are really now a standard expectation rather than a separate concern, firmly embedding them within modern mobility strategies and policies, which is resulting in a positive family experience and less distracted employees so they can do the job they've been tasked with in the new location. The next key learning states that cash allowances for partner and family programs continue to decline. The gradual decline in cash allowances for family and partner programs continues, with only 23% of companies now offering the cash option. This is down from 36% in 2023 and 61% in 2013. The direction and trend here is clear. Organizations are favoring more personalized, needs-based support over standardized financial incentives. So what is replacing this cash? Well, we found from our survey that there are 4 types of support that top the list. This includes intercultural training, career and job support, acclimation and integration support, as well as language training. All of these programs are replacing the cash allowances offered to the partner and family. This shows the continued shift from cash to care, with 77% of corporations offering support for working partners and 55% offering integration support programs for non-working partners. The next key learning is that dual income is a key factor for financial security. The importance of dual income continues to rise, with 74% of respondents indicating that it is critical or significant that the families have 2 incomes. This is up from 69% in 2018. When we look at the split across male and female-led assignments, at first glance, we find that it looks like both find it critical or significant, but when you break it down a bit further, we can see that females put more emphasis on the critical nature of having dual income. When we take a generational view, the younger generations consider dual income more critical than older groups, with 84.2% defining it as critical or significant for the 22 to 36-year-old bracket, 72.4% for the 37 to 52-year-old bracket, and 50% for the 53 to 71% bracket. As dual income families become the norm, partner employment support is increasingly critical, particularly for permanent transfers and local plus assignments, as providing this support provides that recurring income that is needed and is much more effective than something, say, as a one-off bonus. Sustainable solutions require ongoing support rather than these lump sum cash payments to help the partners maintain their careers and continue to the long-term family well-being and success. The next one that we'll look at is a combined approach of human-led and technology-driven support is preferred. This was a new question that we added to the survey for 2025 and 2026, as we wanted to take a look at the balance between AI and technology-driven support and human-led support for the relocating families. We asked survey participants to indicate their preferred combination of human-led and tech-driven support in each phase of a global relocation or assignment. We saw very consistent results with agreement across all participants that a combined solution is preferred. Respondents continue to prefer a combination of human-led and technology-enabled support, particularly in the early phases of relocation. Right? Then we saw a slight rise on the technology side once the family has settled into the new location, only to go back down upon repatriation. This shift towards hybrid and digital solutions reflects the growing comfort with technology as families progress throughout the relocation journey. But one thing we have to notice is that no one said they wanted a fully tech solution, right? So it's really about providing that combined support to meet the employees and families where they are throughout their journey. The next learning, again, this is another new one for this survey, is around employer attractiveness. And we found that employer attractiveness is enhanced by partner and family support programs. When we looked at employer attractiveness, we found that 81% of all respondents believe programs designed to ensure the happiness and well-being of an employee's partner during a global relocation contributes to a strong employer brand. We also found that 83% of employees agreed or strongly agreed that a company's efforts to support the happiness and well-being of an employee's partner during a global relocation enhances the company's reputation as a family-friendly and inclusive employer. Corporations are closely aligned and actually even a little bit higher, with 80% of corporate respondents recognizing the impact these programs are having on talent attraction as well as retention. And we'll note that 81% of those corporate respondents were global mobility professionals, with others across the talent and learning and development and broader HR space. 81% of corporate respondents said supporting relocating families ranks high in their mobility program priorities. Employee sentiment for this was even a little bit higher. So that really highlights the opportunity to elevate these family-focused programs in support of the employee. And although these programs were overall important to all parties, we found a really interesting statistic in the survey in that only 50% of the respondents agreed or strongly agreed that the available support services were effectively communicated and well understood. So again, this highlights an opportunity for global mobility professionals to share more about these valuable programs within their organizations, with their providers, and to their relocating employees and families to make sure that they can take advantage of this support that is available to them and can greatly enhance their journey. The last learning we're going to look at from the survey today is around female-led relocations. This was another new insight that we added to the Relocating Family Survey this year. We asked participants, what have you found most challenging in balancing professional responsibilities with personal or family expectations while relocating globally? Relocating female employees indicated that workload and expectations were their top challenge at 41%, followed by isolation and loneliness second at 30%, and family adjustment third at 18%. Male employees identified family adjustment as their top challenge at 33%, family adjustment followed at 25.9%, and workload and expectations at 26%. These results demonstrate the need for leadership coaching across cultures and community engagement opportunities to really help employees and families integrate into their roles and integrate into the community. We also asked employees if they believed sufficient networking opportunities and professional support systems are readily available and accessible in the new location. In this case, only 50% of female employees felt they had sufficient networking opportunities and professional support systems readily accessible. This compares to 72% of the male employees. We also wanted to look at single parent-led relocations in this year's survey, but to be honest, we had very limited responses from single parent employees who have actually relocated. So we can infer from this that this highlights the need to be more supportive of this group by offering more robust programs to encourage participation. So there you have the top 8 key learnings from the 2026 Relocating Family Survey. To summarize those 8 points, we have a couple of takeaways for you. And so we can understand what all of this tells us. Across the survey results, there were several key themes that emerged that can help organizations strengthen duty of care, improve family outcomes, and increase assignment success. The first takeaway is to proactively engage partners and families to ensure relocation success. Since partner and family resistance and unhappiness are the top reasons that relocations are either rejected or fail, companies must actively involve partners very early in the process. Offering those partners tailored support, such as career coaching, emotional well-being resources, and integration opportunities to adjust and adapt to the local community can boost acceptance and long-term satisfaction. The next takeaway is to strengthen employer appeal by supporting dual income and diverse families. With dual income often being essential for financial security, offering job support and flexible work options for relocating spouses and partners enhances employer attractiveness. Special attention to female-led and single-parent relocations can even further strengthen inclusivity and retention going forward. The third takeaway is to modernize communication and delivery with personalized hybrid support models. It's time to move beyond declining cash allowances by implementing structured service-based programs. Combining human-led guidance with tech-enabled tools to deliver personalized experiences that balance empathy and efficiency can better meet the evolving expectations of global mobility families. So now as let's transition into the next part of our webinar, and we're going to take a dive into some case studies and provide some clear examples on how the survey results can be applied. So the first case study is around a spouse who relocated from Paris to London. This spouse had a very successful banking career, right? And she fully intended when she relocated that she was going to continue that banking career. But as we'll see, she used coaching and decided to pivot direction to fulfill a lifelong dream. So the challenge really was when she relocated from Paris to London. Like I said, she thought she wanted to transfer her baking career. But as she had conversations with her coach and she got further and further into the conversation around what she wanted to do, it started to raise a bigger question into what what fulfilled purpose for her. And as she got 2 or 3 sessions in, she developed a wonderful relationship with the NetExpat coach and began thinking beyond that next banking role. And her coach helped her explore a couple different directions on where she really wanted to go at this stage in her life and her family situation. And so her coach really helped her decide to fulfill a lifelong dream. She took time out from her banking career. She was able to have guidance on how to connect with publishers in the new location, and she was able to publish the children's book that she had always dreamed of writing. And so this really demonstrates how these partner support programs can pivot and change directions depending on the spouse's need to really help them find purpose when everything around them is changing. And this was a really valuable way that she could use her coaching program to do something she had always dreamed of. She did end up eventually landing a role in banking after she accomplished her dream. And the spouse ended up extending his assignment. So overall, it was a win-win for the employee and the relocating partner and the company. The next case study I'd like to share with you is around community connection and how important it is to build relationships for that relocating partner. So this case study looks at 2 relocating partners who ended up in Paris and built a lasting friendship and found purpose through the NetExpat Community Buddy program. So the challenge here was our friend Maria. She was relocating from Buenos Aires to Paris on their first global assignment. As the relocating spouse, isolation hit her hard. As part of her integration support program she was receiving through her partner's employer, Maria joined the NetExpat community and signed up to participate in the Buddy program. She was matched with Laura, who was a Spanish-speaking partner who had also relocated to Paris 4 months before Maria. And she had relocated from Colombia and was Spanish-speaking, similar to Maria. Once Maria was matched with Laura, they became instant friends. This gave both women a sense of connection and a new sense of purpose in their new city of Paris. Maria settled in thanks to the help of Laura and began to thrive. She even later on became a buddy herself to help someone else in their relocation journey. And together, Maria and Laura now host regular meetups in Paris for relocating partners. The next case study that I'd like to share with you is around domestic partner support. And in this case, this relates to inter-country moves and the benefits of providing spouse and partner support programs to a broader audience, not just those relocating globally, right? It applies domestically as well. So we're looking at a global defense manufacturer who had a significant book of orders through 2050. And they really needed to relocate specialist engineers to a remote site. However, partners were unwilling to give up their careers, and the company really needed to find a way to encourage those families to relocate together and put down roots for the long term. What had happened here is that many of the employees had accepted to go to this remote location as midweek commuters, right? And that created a lot of challenges with the family being separated most of the time. This was resulting in burnout and attrition rather than that lasting location that the relocation that the company wanted to encourage. On top of that, the labor market was tight. And so NetExpat worked with the company to provide partner career program and to address those second income concerns. We provided high-touch one-on-one job search support and also looked at self-employment opportunities and integration support and bringing the partners together through the NetExpat community. All of this resulted in some changes to the employer's relocation policy. And through this program, many of the families did agree to relocate together, and they created that sense of community, and it really lifted productivity at the business, increased retention, and kept production on target to meet the company's business objectives and to fulfill all of their commitments. This was a very low-cost investment that proved to be highly effective. The next case study that we'll take a look at is around equity and inclusion. So in this case, a hygiene, health, and nutrition company set out to make its family relocation experience more inclusive and encourage greater diversity across its mobility population. So in this case, the client already offered a very robust partner career program, and it was very successful. However, the company started receiving feedback that there were no support options for the non-working partners. And so in this case, those mobility policies around family support were not being considered inclusive or equitable. So NetExpat worked closely with the company's internal DE&I team and looked at their mobility policy through the lens of inclusivity and equity, and put together a revised policy that allowed for every relocating partner, regardless of whether they were working or not, to receive that one-on-one support program and resources to help them adapt in their new environment. And the results are that now all relocating partners receive support, and this helps their families settle in faster and improves the overall employee and family experience, as well as the long-term retention of those relocating employees. So those are 4 case studies that I hope you can take back to your teams. And in summary, let's talk for a minute about what this means for you, right? Supporting the accompanying partner is the single highest leverage way to protect relocation success and to support the families who are going along with the employee on the journey. The data is clear. Partner resistance and partner unhappiness remain the top reasons relocations are either rejected or fail. Dual income and family well-being now truly sit at the center of mobility decisions. So take the data that I shared today and use that alongside your policy and your current policies to look for opportunities to bridge the gaps where maybe you're not offering support today. The next thing I'd like to share in summary that you can go away from today with is to support the change outcomes, right? We looked at 4 case studies today that show what applying these the data that we shared looks like in practice, right? Careers can be restarted or maybe reinvented in a new location. Families can be connected and assignments can be extended rather than cut short due to the success of family support. And what to do next? Engage with with the relocating partners early in the process, right? The earlier you can engage can help set them up for success. Make support inclusive and equitable for every family, and blend human-led coaching with digital tools to scale your programs in support of duty of care. And that concludes our webinar for today. Thank you so much for attending.